Starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Screen up, Tim.
Yes, sir.
All right, good evening, folks. Glad you could be with us this evening. You're in for a real treat. I know we advertised to some of our agents that we was going to do some training tonight with one of our carriers, and that happened to fall through at the last minute. Wasn't their fault. It wasn't intentional. They apologized for it. Something came up, and the young lady had to be traveling. So you kind of stuck with myself and Mr. Tim Sparkman tonight. I am Philip Hudgens, president of the company, and I'm on to kind of host tonight for Mr. Tim Sparkman. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about this gentleman because I know we got some new people on the phone that really and truly won't know who's talking to them unless we go through some of the things here. This gentleman has taught me more about building businesses than anybody I've ever been around in my 30-some year career. I know he gets to introduce me a lot and plugs me, but folks, this is not he and I blowing smoke. It's the real deal. He's a partner, a co-founder with the company, and I had the pleasure of working with Tim for approximately 2.5 years through another business. He was the top guy in the entire company. He flew all over Europe. He was in about 6, 7 different countries. Just made some amazing things happen for the company. He was the face of the company. And he and I became really, really, really close friends. He was my mentor in that business. When I left that business, he stayed there for a little while longer, and then we connected back about 9 months ago and started this venture together. And I was very, very blessed to have him say yes when I sat down with him. And he can tell you the story sometime. When I sat down, I had it drawn out on a yellow pad with a pen and a piece of paper with no name to the company, no compensation to the company, no carriers for the company, just a dream and what we were going to do. And he walked away from everything to come over because of his belief level in me and in the industry that I had come from. So with all of that being said, we've gotten even closer in the last 9, 10 months in this business. When he's in anywhere close here, he's with us. His family stays with us. We take vacations together. We go to church together, wherever we're at, whatever city we're in. So it's just amazing to have someone like this on the team. And I'm going to introduce Mr. Tim Sparkman and let him speak a minute or two. We're going to show a short video and then get into some training. You with me, Tim?
Yes, sir. And thank you very much, Philip. And happy holidays for everybody. And man, this is a special one. That's the ultimate sacrifice that somebody's given their life for our freedom. So we always need to remember this. I tell everybody, be sure and find a veteran tomorrow. Find somebody, tell them thank you. If it means just going by to a cemetery and telling somebody thank you, they hear you also. But a very, very special time for us, something that's always been big in my heart. But Philip, let's go ahead and start the video real quick.
Okay. I'm trying. Here we go.
All righty, Philip. Hey, somebody just real quick and just let me know that everybody could hear that.
I just heard that somebody couldn't hear it, Tim.
Okay, well, you know what? That's okay. I'm going to tell everybody what you just saw, and go ahead and flip my slides up, Philip. And
I'm trying to. That ain't working either.
Hit the escape button.
Okay. There we go. All right. You want the first one up, Tim?
yes, sir.
Okay. And before we get to those, what that video was saying real quick, Tim, if you don't mind, it was saying that most people don't see the heartaches, the no's, the rejections, everything that young man was getting along the way when the guy shut the door in his face. But everybody sees the success in the end, who the person becomes. But you have to go through all of that to become the person you want to be. That was the whole gist behind the video, and I apologize that the sound didn't come on.
No problem, Philip. So, and and when we were looking at this video earlier, guys, one of the things when I sit down with Philip, and I say this jokingly from stage, and I say it tongue in cheek, because you know what, guys, if you can't make fun of yourself, who can you make fun of? But when I sit down with Philip and the board members, and I'm looking around the room, and and this guy graduated cum laude, or I don't even know what he graduated from, an Ivy Coast school and everything else. My biggest fear was that my strengths were not going to come into play in this company. That it was going to ask me my education, it was going to ask me where I came from, it was going to ask me where I went to school. And I'm going to say it one more time when I go through these 10 things, guys, and understand this is the only thing that you can control in your life. Okay, I can't control that my dad was a teacher for the Air Force Academy. I can't control my sister was a valedictorian. I can't control my brother was a salutatorian. And I can't control that I couldn't go to school. But these are the 10 things, guys, that you can control. And when we were just watching that video, the one thing that I wished everybody could have caught it was this guy continually failed. And what he eventually did, and you have to apologize, I'm very, very hoarse, he failed his way to the top. And one of my things I'm brightest about, I'm most proud of, is I can honestly say I listen to everything Ralph says, because I don't know what it's like to make $2 million a year. But the one thing I'm proud of that Philip says is I know what it's like to make $1 million a year and to do it in 3 different industries. But the one thing was that I never tell anybody was all 3 of them industries, Philip, I failed in at one point. I mean, literally almost bankrupt every time. But I knew there was 10 things that I could control in my life. And if I did these 10 things, the industries that I had chose would allow me to be successful. And so we're right back in an industry again that doesn't ask for education. It doesn't ask which side of the tracks we come on. It doesn't ask me my skin color. It doesn't ask me if I can spell cat, which everybody knows gets an email from me. I can't, but it asks me these things. And these are the keys, guys, that I promise you, if you do these and you duplicate them, the stars are your limit. Number 1, the easiest thing to control is being on time. And I'll tell you, 99% of people that are self-employed have 0 time management. Don't take that personal. It's something I struggle with. I have books I read. I work on it daily, because you have nobody telling you what time you have to be at work or you're fired. The only person that's going to take self-inventory of you being on time and your production is yourself. It's the mirror. So being on time is key. If you're starting your day at 11 o'clock in this business, you're dead. If you ever heard Steve Kennedy talking from stage, he said, the one thing I can count on was at 6:30 every single morning he got a phone call from me. Now you have to understand, 6:30, that's his time on the East Coast, it's 5:30 mine. Because I know I can't talk to my agents at that time. I know I can't talk to a customer. I know I can't recruit. So I'm going to do the one thing that doesn't make me any money, paperwork. Okay? Paperwork will literally run you broke. You'll manage yourself out of business. But I know to be on time. I know the keys of it. There's a meeting. Okay? Always be to the meeting before the meeting. If you show up late for the meeting, you're telling your team to show up late for the meeting, which is telling your team the first speaker, what he's saying is not important. Being on time is number 1 of the key things that you can do in this business. You'll be amazed at what you'll get out of the day if you simply add 15, 20, 30 minutes a day of getting up earlier. If you wake up every morning at 8, wake up at 7:30. If you wake up at 7:30, wake up at 7. Simply gather another 30 minutes a day times 7 days a week 31 days out of the month and see what happens. Number 2, work ethic. You can outwork your problems, guys. Before you can be great at something, you got to be good. And I can promise you, before you can be good, you got to be bad. The only way you do that is work ethic and duplications and doing something over and over and over again. The very first time I did a presentation in front of more than 5 people, my mentor, Mr. Andy McWilliams, had me in a room. I said, I will not speak in front of people. I cannot speak in front of people. I'm scared to speak in front of people. He said, can you introduce me? I said, no, I can't. He said, then I'm not going to do the meeting for you. I said, I can introduce you. While I was introducing him, he walked out of the building, got on the elevator, and left me. I did it enough times that eventually I became average at it. Eventually I came up with a story, and then I became pretty good at it. Your work ethic can kill everything else that you're bad at. People will follow you knowing how much your belief level is off of your work ethic. And that's where one of the key elements comes into place, was where you do not go out to recruit, you recruit while you're out. Every minute of the day. If I'm not at church or if I'm not with my family, right now it's about Envita. If I'm standing in the line at the airport, if I'm getting into a taxi, if I'm getting onto a shuttle, everywhere I'm going, it's all about my work ethic and how many minutes a day can I spend in Envita. Number 3, effort. You know, I'm going to let Philip talk about this one a little bit afterwards, but the reason that we do these trainings is because if you develop and have a very strong work ethic, but your effort is put toward the wrong thing and you're having bad practice, you'll eventually have bad performance. It's a key, okay? You have to have good practice to have good performance, whether it's mastering the invitation, mastering the presentation, listening to everybody. Your effort is key in what you're putting forth in your effort. Phil, can you kind of go over effort a little bit? Because I know you talk about that a lot. People, you know, they're working hard and they think they're putting forth a lot of effort, but they're putting it forth in the wrong capacity.
Yeah, Tim, and effort to me is like practice, okay? But practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice baseball all day long and you'll never get better at football, okay? So you've got to practice the right activities on a day-to-day basis. You got to have the work ethic. You got to be on time, everything he's talking about here, but you got to do the right kind of work, okay? If you spend your day hour after hour after hour doing $10 an hour work, and that's what you put your effort into, you're going to get paid $10 an hour. So you're going to have to work at the things that makes you money. The effort you need to put forward here in our business is kitchen table appointments. Kneecap to kneecap, eyeball to eyeball, kitchen table appointments in front of people. That's where we make our money. Yes, you go out and prospect, you get people in the business, you get them through the 6 steps, you do all the things we do, but your effort is all you have during the day to put forth, and you've got to put forth the effort in the right areas to make you the right amount of money. So perfect practice makes perfect. You can act like you're busy all day long. You can sit at the office, you can push papers, you can shuffle this, you can clean your desk, all of that stuff, but it makes no difference. You need to be in front of people showing the presentation.
Body language. Yeah, that's a good one, guys. And for those who have, we always talk about there's 2 differences in MLM and direct sales, but if you have not mastered body language yet in direct sales, you're in for a tough road to hoe. That's something I would literally recommend everybody go and Google search body language for sales. If you were sitting in front of me right now, you'd see my hands talking. You'd see me leaning forward. You'd see that when I'm sitting at a table, and I'm always going to have the gentleman sitting next to me and the lady next to them. If I ever shake hands with you, always notice I shake your hand, and when I do, I reach with my other hand and grab the back of your elbow and pull you close. Okay? Your body language is everything. At the same point, you can tell when somebody's sitting in a meeting, they don't want to be there. They're slouching down. They're looking at their watch. They're disengaged. Your body language tells everybody when you're going about your daily habits, are you excited or are you not? That would be one literally when I get off of here, if you really wanted to master the art of sales, and we're not going to get into politics, guys, but just go back and look at any clip of Bill Clinton speaking. Watch him shaking people's hands. Watch him changing the tones of his voice. President Obama is another one. They just both happen to be Democrats, so I'm not picking a side, everybody. But you listen to these guys, and they're so well schooled that you can like them, dislike them, doesn't matter, but you'll just get engaged and you'll catch every word. A true salesman will learn that they will speak more with their body and their tone of voice than the actual words coming out. Philip, would you like to add anything on that?
Yeah, the voice control, Tim, is the one that you hit just lightly on. And that voice control, folks, when you sit down at kitchen tables and you get the people engaged in your story and you're doing your discovery, if you naturally talk loud, slow down a little bit like I'm doing now and get your tone of voice deep. And I guarantee you, if I could see you guys right now, you're trying to get real close to the computer so you can really not miss what I'm saying. And you see the people lean into you. That's body language. You get them drawn in to the conversation. They're paying real close attention because they don't want to miss anything. And if you normally talk low, get a little louder. Talk a little different. As he said, use your hands, all those things. Okay, so it's very, very important that you watch the people as you're going through your presentation and you use what you have to use to get them back engaged. If I see one of them drifting off, if I see somebody looking to the right, looking around the room, I might snap my finger, I might hit the table, I might, shake your arm or something, and say, man, that's exciting, isn't it? And get their attention back. So keep them engaged in the conversation.
Great. Next one, guys, is energy. Talking about something you can completely control. It amazes me somebody can get out of bed at 10, get to the office at 12, and they still have no energy. Art William, one of Philip's mentors, he said something. He said, I don't know what's wrong with me, but every morning I just wake up and my butt's on fire. And if you can figure out how to do that one, you'll just be amazed at how many people will be attracted to you. Energy attracts energy, and people make fun of it, but everywhere I go, if I said it one time in the last 4 days, I said it 100 times, was every day's a holiday. Every day's a holiday. If I'm walking into the hotel, how are you doing? Every day's a holiday. Man, I like that. I never have somebody go, what do you mean? I look at the guy in the elevator, man, every day's a holiday. He goes, that's a good thing. When I was at the airport the other day, Philip, for 12 hours, every person I walked up to that was mad, irritated, cussing, I just look at him and say, man, every day's a holiday. And one lady goes, how can you say that? And I said, because I got two options. I can be 6 foot under or 6 foot above. You see where I'm standing? It looks like a holiday from where I'm at. But control your energy. And the way you do that is you have to understand that you have over 50,000 thoughts a day. 50,000. Okay, so right now I'm telling you, you're talking to yourself. There's some people on there looking at me right now going, I don't talk to myself, and that proves the point. The trick is, how do you control what you're saying to yourself? This is where your energy comes from. I have a whole different training. Philip saw me do it one time, and it says the key to being successful is you have to protect your inner self. Okay, and the way you protect your inner self, the number one person you're protecting it from is you. Okay, because you will bring yourself down quicker than anybody else. I can't, I won't, I'm too old, I'm too short, and your energy level drops, your belief level drops. You've got to figure out how to get up and have positive energy. The way I do it, if you get in, there's going to be a speaker on my car every time. I couldn't tell you what the number 1 song or the number 10 song is, or even what channel's music is on. I'm listening to somebody at every minute of the day that's going to raise my mindset and my energy level. Because if you think you don't have negative stuff happen, I have it every day. Try sitting on the board of a company that's launching. So a lot of our conversations are negative, but immediately you have to get off of them and get your energy level up. Garbage in, garbage out. Positive stuff in, guys, positive stuff out. Control your energy, and you'll become a magnet to attracting others. Philip, anything you want to add there?
Oh, you got that one, buddy. You
Okay.
got that.
Attitude.
Big one.
Okay. A lot of people need an attitude adjustment. I just went brain dead. What do you call the little thing in the airplane, Philip, that tells you your nose is up or down? Oh my God.
I don't know. I never drove an airplane.
It's the deal that tells you if you're going up or down, and that's what Mr. Kennedy, the younger son, didn't have in his plane when he flew it into the ground, 12 or 13 years ago. He drove the nose of it into the ocean because an altitude. He didn't have an altitude, adjuster. So you have to control your attitude. And this really goes back to what I was just stating on energy. If you have a policy didn't go through, you had something that was charged back, and you let that affect you, recruiting cures all ills. You have to wake up every day and say, man, this is it. This is where I draw the line in the sand for my family. This is a great day, and I am so blessed to have this opportunity. And when you have that attitude and you go, man, I had one person quit today, I'm putting 2 pennies in my pocket. Let's go. Because the one thing I can tell you is how you learn is they take that attitude is you learn from your mistakes. You can sit there and look at your mistakes. You can dwell on your mistakes. You can cry over your mistakes. You can get bent out of shape on your mistakes, or you can look at them and realize 90% of the time they were my fault. When we almost lost everything in the restoration business, Philip, I knew not to go to Katrina, but I went anyway. It was my fault. Okay, greed took place, and I learned that as a learning factor that made us launch into the next one. And you always take these things that are negative and build off of them something positive, and that's the way you have your attitude in a good state. Because if you wake up negative about what happened the day before instead of learning from it, you're done.
Yeah, and on this one, Tim, your attitude is not almost everything, guys. It's everything. Okay? That I've been taught this for over 30 plus years of being in business. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that takes you to your ultimate altitude. Now let me explain that one. Your aptitude is what he's saying earlier. Summa cum laude, all that stuff. I can't even spell it, much less say it. Okay? So that's how smart you are. All right? But it's your attitude that'll win out every single time. See, we teach people that we can't steer a parked car. If you come in and don't know what to do, it's okay. Just get in the car, crank it up, and get started. If you're going in the wrong direction, we can straighten you up. But if you're doing nothing, nothing happens. So your attitude is everything, right? So you're going to either be positive or you're going to be negative. And you can choose to make excuses or make money, but you can't make both. So that's where your attitude comes in at. You just overcome. It's like Tim says, everything we do every single day, our day starts out at 5:36 in the morning, and all we're doing is overcoming everything we got to overcome for the day to keep everything going and move forward. And then we got to have the attitude, because then we start calling agents, calling reps, calling leaders, getting on the phone, getting them up, getting them rolling. So attitude is very, very, very important.
Passion. Passion, Philip, I should probably let you go with this one. But, you know, to be passionate about something, guys, you know, and excuse me for using this word, but, you know, and if the guys are on the phone call, they'll back me up on this. But I was sitting there doing a presentation in San Antonio, and there was 3 or 4 guys sitting there, and the guy goes, and you have to understand, I was sitting with Saul, I was sitting with David, I can't remember everybody's names, and Phil, 3 of these guys had met me for the first time, and I was talking to them about the 6 steps. I was talking about this opportunity. I was talking to them about timing, and they said, you know, you're pretty excited about this. You're pretty committed. I said, let me explain something. I'm building from Houston to San Antonio and every single thing in between. Does everybody understand how my voice just changed? And I leaned over to the middle of the table with 4 guys sitting there in suits, very, very successful, said, I would love to have you, but if not, get the hell out of my way. And I just paused. And David looked at Saul and went, he's pretty serious about it. And I go, don't anybody take that personal. I said, but that is how passionate I am every day when my feet hit the ground. I want everybody to come with me. But if they're not, they better SOB. I said, because I'm going to find somebody else. I said, because I'm on a mission. I don't get many opportunities in my life. This is one that I might not ever get again. And when you have that passion, they'll literally look at you and they don't think you're crazy. They don't think you're arrogant. They think you're on fire. And I immediately followed it up. I said, man, guys, I want you to go with me, but you have to understand is that's the guy you want in the foxhole with you is the one that just answered you that way. I'm not going to look at you and say, I'm kind of excited about this. I'm kind of passionate about this. I'm telling you right now, let me know if you're in, because if you're not, I'm moving over to the next table. I'm really passionate about this. I'm passionate about it that I'm on a family event with my family right now 40 miles away. So I had to drive 40 miles up here to do a webinar and then drive back. It's that passion, and we see this passion in some people's eyes. You know, I see it in the net's eyes. I see it. I shouldn't start going through names, because I'll miss somebody up there. And when I hear Rick Zeller driving to, 3 hours across, or 5, 7, 8 hours to Las Vegas, and when you get that passion, it's just like attitude, it's just like energy. People get attracted to you. And more importantly is they never have a fear. It's subconscious. It works in that part of their mind, the limbic, that when they see somebody that passionate about it, that passion, it could be anything. It could be your marriage, your spiritual life. They know you're not going to leave it. They know you're 110% committed, game on. And when you get that, man, you will be amazed at how many people you attract to yourself.
And folks, let me explain something that Tim just explained when he said get out of the way, and then he said SOB. That stands for slide over, baby. Okay, it doesn't stand for what you think it stands for. So slide over.
I didn't finish the sentence.
Yeah, he said SOB and just left it hanging. But that stands for slide over, baby. Get out of my way.
Everybody's still on the call. Nobody jumped off. I'm sorry.
Nobody jumped off the call, so you're good. You're good.
Man, I got fired up.
That's okay, buddy. But that passion, folks, what he's saying, he does have the passion. He does. You don't want to get in front of him. You want to get behind him and follow somebody who's got that. And that's the difference in winning and losing. You can't see it, taste it, feel it, or smell it, but it's there. You rub your fingers together, it's that small, okay? And nothing goes between them. That's how small it is in the difference in winning and losing. But that passion is your why. It's what drives you. It's what gets you up early. It's what keeps you up late. Now, it's not that you're going to be passionate about Envita. It's not you're going to be passionate about the insurance business. It's not you're going to be passionate about going kitchen table to kitchen table. That's not your passion. Your passion is what drives you. Envita is simply a vehicle in an industry that happens to be the insurance industry, that happens to be one of the largest industries out there, $6.1 trillion of industry, $589 billion in premiums coming in a year. We've got a serious problem. We've lost agents. The economy's growing. People are growing. The opportunity is right. The tea and timing is perfect here. But your passion drives you. You're not going to get up every morning to go sell a policy. You're not going to stay out late every night to help somebody sell a policy. Okay? You will find something that drives you. My passion, very simply, in insurance, I watched my dad pass away. It wasn't enough to bury him. Okay? Then I watched my mom have to sell the house, move in with me until she passed away. And then I had to pay the difference in the house. So when you go through something like that, you see it happen, you know it was done wrong in the industry by people that didn't, I don't know if they didn't understand what they were doing or didn't care what they were doing, but it didn't matter. The same result ended. My dad didn't mean for that to happen to his family. Well, none of us went to college. He didn't mean for that to happen. He didn't plan for that. But nobody helped him plan for the future. They give him a plan that didn't work. So my passion inside of me says, I don't want that to happen to other people. I get up every morning with that on my mind. I go to sleep every night with it on my mind. When I sit down at the kitchen tables, I look at people's eyes. I see my mom. I see my dad. When I'm talking to people about recruiting, I see that we need a lot of young people in here to help us. And if you can't tell that I'm passionate about what I do and Tim's passionate about what he does, you're not listening. And I think you can tell. I could talk on this one all night, but I'm going to move on.
Being coachable. This one, guys, is the key. And I'm going to tell you, I talk about it so much, and half the time when I'm talking to you, if I offend you, understand I'm talking to myself. I'm just inviting you to listen. If you knew how many arguments me and Philip get into with each other sometimes, because we're both trying to explain something, we both are having to be coachable and listen. It is the hardest thing for us to do as human beings, and if you're 30 years old and you're listening to me, trust me, this is as easy as it's ever going to get, because the time you get 50 at my age, you got everything figured out and you don't want to listen to nobody, right, Philip?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so it just, but guys, if you can take and understand this, and I started training on this 5 or 6 years ago, and I said, you know, actually, wow, I'm getting old. I started training on this 10 years ago, where I would show slides of the Wizard of Oz. And I said it was where 4 different people or creatures wanted 4 different things: a brain, a heart, courage to go home. They all wanted something different. But if they would just simply listen and follow the yellow brick road, they would all get to Oz and get what they wanted, even though it was completely different. It could be financial freedom. It could be taking care of your parents. It could be being a philanthropist. It doesn't matter. The yellow brick road applies to everybody. But so many times, and this really happens with two groups of people. One is when somebody comes in and they've been very successful in their own right in a different industry. So if you come in and you've been a doctor, you've been a lawyer, you're a home builder, the computer doesn't care. The computer has no preconceived notions, doesn't care about your degree. Once again, that's why I'm here. You have to check in your ego at the door, put it in your back pocket, and be fully coachable and listen. The second place it takes place is normally in months, I say between 4 and 7, where you start getting your hands around it a little bit, and you start thinking, you know what, I think I've just about got this figured out. Instead of following this crooked yellow brick road, I'm going to cut across the field. And everybody remembers what happens when they got off the yellow brick road. The flying monkeys got them, and they ended up in an opium field. Okay, you got to stay on the yellow brick road. I do not do Pizza Patron or any other business. I do Pizza Patron because it's a franchise. It's a proven system. Okay, if Philip and them did not have a system, he's my friend. I believe in him. I wouldn't be here. I do not 1 minute question any of the system of I love you or this or that. Why would I? It works. It takes so much energy to recreate something. Why not just use something that's already been built? And that would be one of the keys, guys. If you're coachable and you take that second one up here, work ethic, and then you slide down to number 6 and have an attitude, good attitude, the life is your pearl. That's it. Doing the extra. I started off with this one on being on time, guys. Get up early, stay out late. What I would challenge everybody here is get up every single morning, okay? And if you're on this call, congratulations, because everybody, including me and Philip, have somebody else placed. My family sitting out in the driveway wanting to know when are we going back to the lake. Everybody has a better place to be, but you're here for a reason. If you're on this call, you got a why, okay? Get you a day timer. Start tracking what you're doing all during the day. Right in that day timer, what are you doing right now? Are you watching TV while you're on the webinar? Are you texting while you're on the webinar? And you'll see how much time you lose. Instead of losing time, do the extra. Add some time. Make a commitment from now to the event that you're going to get up 1 extra hour early. Make a commitment from now to the event, you're going to prospect 1 more person a week, 1 more person to the weekly meeting. It's amazing what happens if you do that 1 extra. It's the little things in life that add up, not the big things. It's the 1 extra rep in the gym. It's eating 1 less bite of food, getting up 10 minutes early extra, reading this 5 minutes at the night positive. Just the little things in life that'll add up, that'll help you more than the big things. It's just like a savings account. I always tell people, okay, and remember this when in doing the extra, the little thing. If you had a bucket of water and you're walking across the desert and there was a big leak, you'd put your finger on the leak and you wouldn't even notice it. But if it was a small leak and it was just dripping, the bucket would be empty and you wouldn't even know it. It would just slowly drip out, slowly but surely. It's the little bitty things that affects you in a negative or positive manner. If you can simply do the extra, say, okay, tomorrow, it's a holiday weekend. Okay, I'm going to move my family tomorrow, but I'm going to do something extra. For 1 hour, I'm going to commit to this, whatever it is. Okay, it could be family, it could be spiritual at work, but do the extra thing, and it'll affect your overall attitude. It'll affect your overall energy level, and you'll be more passionate about what you're doing. Being prepared. We got more webinars. We got more training slides. We got more of everything to have you prepared. But I'm going to tell you the number 1 place that you have to be prepared is controlling your inner peace, of what I spoke about earlier. You know, of all the people on this call, I tell you, and Philip's going to go, man, don't tell them that. Probably 90% of you are more educated in insurance on your studying than I am. But I am very prepared every morning when I wake up to go out and be the best that I can be. My mind is set. I know exactly what I have to accomplish. I know how many hours I've got to do it. I have my list of things to do. My Tuesday's already planned out. My Wednesday's already planned out. My Thursday's already planned out. My Friday is planned out. I refuse to lose the most precious thing I've got. I refuse. It's called time. It's the only thing I can't replace. Okay, everything else materialistic is replaceable in my life, but I have to be prepared. I can't walk in unprepared for a meeting. I can't walk in unprepared. I don't have gas, so I'm not going to be on time. I can't walk in and not be prepared and have no energy level. I can't walk in and I'm not prepared, so now I've got an attitude. I can't walk in and I'm not prepared when I'm meeting with the team, so now I'm not passionate. I can't walk into Philip and not be prepared and not listen to him. Okay, you have to do every single extra thing it takes to be prepared. You have to be on time. You have to have the work ethic. You have to have effort. You have to have body language. You have to have energy. You got to have attitude. You got to have passionate. You got to be coachable. You got to do every extra thing every single minute of the day to be prepared. It's not going to ask you your education. It's not going to ask you your color. It's not going to ask you if you were born in Bristol, Texas. But if you do them first 9 things, guys, you're going to be prepared, and everything else will take care of itself. I promise you, okay? It nowhere in the top 9 it say be an expert on an IUL, be an expert on term insurance. What it tells you is when you're on time for your meeting, you have a high work effort, you put the effort in, you sit across, you have the right body language, the right energy, you have the right attitude, and you're passionate about the person you're talking to, and you're coachable, you're listening to the customer, and you're willing to go the extra mile and do anything for them, you're 100% prepared, and you can write a policy, and you can build a team. That's it, Philip.
Well, and you know, if you look to the left, Tim, it says 10 things that require 0 talent, and you just explained it very well. I'm not going to try to recap it. It's a no-brainer. Folks, it's not about your talent. It's about everything he just covered right here. And all you got to do is get these 10 things right, and you will beat 95% of the population out there. And you know, we do a slide with the 4 quadrants in it, and bottom line, it says 5% of the people control 95% of the wealth in the country. And every time I read that slide to people, they say, you know what, that's not fair. Folks, let me tell you something about life. It's not fair. What's happening is the people that are willing to do these 10 things right here are in the top 5%, and the other 95% of the population are not willing to get up and do these 10 things every single day, every single hour, every single second. So that's how you beat 95% of the people. Now, Tim, this one's yours, buddy.
Right on, man. All right, 3 words we should always avoid, guys, and we're going to be done in 5 minutes. All right. I've heard this one in Mandarin. I've heard it in Spanish. I've heard it in Arabic. I've heard it everywhere I've been. I've heard it in California, Scotland, Ireland, England, from my professional networkers, direct sales. But I can tell you 3 words that you need to avoid to be successful. Number 1 is everybody. So when I'm sitting there talking to you, you say, well, you know what? Everybody I know already has a job. Everybody I know already has insurance. Okay, you know, everybody I know is not going to be interested in this, Philip. What's the next word? You know, everyone I know already has insurance. Everyone I know has a job, Philip. Everyone I know is really not a good salesman. Gosh, Philip, everyone I know has kids and they don't have time. Man, I don't know anyone that likes to sell. I don't know anyone that would want to go sell insurance. I don't know anyone that even has the time to do this, Philip. And biggest thing is, I don't know anyone, okay? Let me let everybody in on something. 95% of the people, when they pass away, will fall below the poverty means. That means they have less than $17,000 annually coming in income. So there's 95% of them. 61% of the United States are uninsured. And both of them numbers don't run together, so you're probably talking about 99% of the people out there or have a t-shirt on that says help. Okay? You never know who is looking for you. You never know. Okay? And I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to try to do this in 3 minutes. I'm in Houston on Saturday morning. It's not Saturday morning, 2 days ago. And they were canceling every single flight on Friday, one of the busiest travel days of the year, from Dallas to Houston, 21. So take 21 flights canceled at 160 people, And that's about 3,000 people going nuts, cursing, unhappy, screaming, trying to get rental cars, trying to get Greyhound, trying to get out of there. Okay? I met one person in the line of the last rental car place open. When I raised my hands up, I said, hey, is anybody going to Dallas? Every day's a holiday. I need a ride. And one guy was willing to say, yes, I'll give you a ride. Okay? That one person right there. And so I'm going to give you an example. That one person wound up being one of the most powerful people in Brownsville, Texas, 400 miles away from where I was at. And it so happens Brownsville is where I was at the day before doing presentations. Okay? When they say no one needs help, everyone needs help. I was in a car with him for 3 hours. After 3 hours, I found out the person I went to meet with in Brownsville played golf with him. Okay? Was one of his best friends. Somebody that hadn't even talked to yet. So don't discount anybody. If you do, somebody else is going to talk to them for you. Avoid everybody. If you're going to use these words, use them this way. Everybody needs insurance. Everybody wants to feel special. Everyone needs help. And no one is off my radar. There's no one out there that I'm not willing to talk to. Next up, Philip. No two snowflakes are the same, guys. No two snowflakes. Nobody's alike, so talk to everybody. All right, guys, you can duplicate good behavior, you can duplicate bad behavior. Neither one can be stopped once it's started. I've done this. The art of duplication is the most beautiful thing in the world. When you get it going right, you can put it on cruise control and go to the beach. If you get it going improperly, you can't stop it, and it'll make you pull your hair out. Just look at Philip. I think he must have did it one time before. I know he's done it right 100 times, but I've lost some of my hair. I've kept most of my hair, but I can promise you, we can both tell you we've done it the wrong way and the right way. The next slide is the right way. 6 steps, guys. The number one thing that we teach in our business is the 6 steps. I'll tell you this once more. Since Thanksgiving, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, we're now in my 7th month, whether I'm doing a presentation for myself or somebody else. I will not bring them into the business. I won't let them join on the computer until I look them dead in the eye and I say, Saul, David, Fernando, Bert, everybody I met with this week, I only get one chance to set the expectations right. It would not be fair to me to sign you up and then say, oh, by the way, this is what you need to do. Number one is you're going to get in. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. No, sir. Wait 1 second. I want to show you everything. Number one, I want you to get your house in order. I'll come back to that one. I'm going to need you to sign up for your study course. We can either do this online or in class. In class takes 2 to 3 days, so I want you to understand this is about 20 hours. If you bust it, you can do this. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and sign up for the test date, no more than 14 days away. Well, Tim, can I go ahead and sign up for the study guide in a few days or for the test in a few days? Nope. Procrastination will set in. Sign up for the test date. We're going to get fingerprint tonight, and I need to know your why. What's your why? You remember earlier when I said, come go with me or get the blank out of the way? Yes, I remember that. You made me back up a little bit. That's because I got a strong why. I know what it's like to be away from my wife, my kids, my church. I'm not going back. I need to know why you're doing this business. Why do you need to know my why? To be honest with you, because if I'm going to leave my wife, my kids, and my church, I need to know you're in it with me. Now, you don't have to work 70 hours a week like me, but if you're working 7 hours or 4 hours or 3 hours, I need you 100% committed for that time. I lose my right to be average or ordinary the day you sign up, so it's my job to make you successful. Please understand this, Mario, Mary. It's my job. It's not a privilege. It is a job I have. I'm required to do everything I can to make you successful. So I'm going to get you to do these 6 steps. Why are you doing the business? Well, can I think about it? Nope. We're going to talk about it. And let me go ahead and give you a suggestion. Your why better be in the rearview mirror. I don't understand. Well, I could easily have told you I wanted to spend more time with my wife and my kids. I told you I never wanted to leave them again. That's behind me. I'm not going back. Get their why. Let's make a list of 2 to 3 people I want to talk to them. Okay, I'll tell you again, when you sign somebody up, you give up your right to be average or ordinary. I signed up the Benton Courts. I was in McAllen, Texas immediately afterwards. Signed up Saul in Brownsville. That's 800 miles away. I was immediately there. Didn't get on a webinar with him. Didn't say get your friends on a webinar. I got on an airplane. Well, Tim, I don't know if I can do that. Think long and hard when you sign somebody up, okay? Because if they have a strong why, they're putting their life in your hands, okay? They're going to need help along the way. Okay, you can't just set a baby on the street corner and expect them to live. Okay, you have to nurture them. You have to feed them. They'd be dehydrated. You have to take care of them. Now, you're not going to have to take care of somebody at an agency for 18 years like your kids, but you got to wrap your arms around them and take care of them. And you meet somebody within 2 to 3 days. Oh yeah, Maria and Mario, on that number one, get your house in order. We're writing a policy on you. Okay. Well, can I wait and write my own policy? As long as you're 100% sure nothing's going to happen to you, as long as you know you're not going to be disabled, not be in a car accident or anything else. And I can tell you right now, in 2 days from now, when we sit down with your friends to show them this opportunity, if you don't have your illustration, you're going to struggle. So I will not let anybody come in without them 6 steps if I'm going to help them build and be away from my wife, my kids, and my church. Now, I can't make them do them, but I can make myself on how much time I'm willing to give them if they're willing to not follow the yellow brick road.
Okay, you step, I step, you stop, I stop.
You got that right. You'll go crazy if it's you step, you beg. And that's the difference in recruiting and interviewing, guys. I'm a full-time interviewer. I don't go out and recruit. I interview. And you know what, Philip? It's that time of the day. Let's find out who's going to Hudgens Hills. It's now in Vita summer madness.
Yeah, instead of spring, we didn't go plump to the summer on this thing. But folks, we had a contest run. Go ahead, Tim. You know
it's all yours, buddy. I spoke too much. Well,
we had a contest going, and we did a March Madness. It turned into Spring Madness, and we just finished it up. Some issues took place, but we went through this last week. It shut down May the 26th. Final round, round 5 for the second chance bracket. And drum roll, please. The winner is Mr. Rick Zeller out of California. It was winner take all on this one. You can see the points as you come down. Mr. Mayo missed it by 6 points. The other 3 to 4 there were kind of way down on points. But Mr. Rick Zeller won it. And Rick, as soon as we get back from Dominican, we'll get together on a time, because I know you want me out there doing a boot camp training for you. We'll figure that out, and then figure out a time we can get you and Miss Joyce out here, and we'll spend a little quality time together and talk about building the business and put a game plan together and all that good stuff. So congratulations to everybody in the contest. All the hard work paid off. You all got checks along the way, but Rick, you were the winner in the deal. Okay, so there's only one winner.
Thank you for all our veterans, guys. Once again, we can't tell you how much we appreciate it. And find somebody tomorrow and tell them thank you. Make them feel special. It'll mean a lot to them. And I can promise you when you do it, it'll mean more to you. Thank you. God bless. And we'll see you on the call Thursday. And let's make 2016 a year to remember.
All right. Thanks, Tim.